Have you ever looked at the palm of your hand and felt a strange sense that it was hiding something? Jung believed the unconscious sends signals, not only in dreams, but carved into our very skin. What if I told you the M on your hand is not just a random line, but a symbolic call from the deepest part of your soul? They'll tell you it's nonsense, just coincidence. But what Jung revealed is that every symbol has an ancestral origin, and sometimes destiny begins with a silent mark on your flesh. Jung believed that beneath our personal memories lies a deeper layer of the psyche, one not shaped by our individual lives, but inherited from humanity itself. This is the collective unconscious, the vast inner ocean where archetypal symbols are born and passed down through generations, symbols that whisper truths we haven't yet spoken aloud. The M mark on the palm is one of those whispers. Not a medical anomaly, not superstition, but a symbolic reflection rising from the unconscious. It's the language of the soul speaking in silence, asking, "Are you ready to see what's inside?" These symbols don't appear at random. They emerge when something deep within us stirs, when we stand at the edge of transformation. The body becomes a canvas, and the psyche a painter, etching its message where we might finally notice. A dream, a scar, a line in your palm. Jung called these expressions unconscious signals, bridges between the inner world and the outer one. They're not meant to be analyzed like data, but felt, lived, and slowly unveiled. The M may not mean the same for everyone. It may represent inner wisdom for one or a buried wound for another, but its appearance stirs something universal, a call to explore the layers we've avoided, a doorway disguised as a mark. What makes a symbol powerful is not its shape, but what it awakens in the person who sees it. When you finally notice the M, it may coincide with a deep inner shift, as if your soul had been waiting for this exact moment. Jungian symbolism teaches us that what we call coincidence is often synchronicity in disguise. The M arrives not to predict, but to awaken. It is the echo of something sacred breaking through the surface of the ordinary. This isn't mysticism. This is analytical psychology meeting personal mythology. Your unconscious doesn't speak in words. It speaks in symbols, stories, and signs. And your hand might just be the manuscript. You weren't meant to just read the lines. You were meant to feel them, question them, reflect on them. The M is not a map, but an invitation to pause, to descend, to ask, what is my unconscious trying to show me? In the process of individuation, symbols act like messengers from the self. They appear when you're ready to integrate what's been fragmented, to unite the known and the unknown within you, to begin your own hero's journey inward. It's not about believing in magic. It's about recognizing the psychic magic that's been guiding you from the shadows all along. The M is not the destination, but the beginning of a symbolic dialogue, and once you enter that dialogue, nothing looks the same again. Every pattern becomes a possibility, every silence a message, every mark a mirror. In Jung's map of the psyche, archetypes are not inventions. They are ancient, inherited structures of the mind. They live beneath the surface of every culture, appearing as recurring patterns in stories, myths, and palm lines. The M is one such mirror, reflecting what's hidden. This symbol resonates with three powerful forces: the Great Mother, the Magician, and the Monarch. Each archetype carries a distinct psychic energy, a potential waiting to be awakened in the soul. And the moment you notice the M, that awakening may begin. The Great Mother is the one who births and nourishes all. She is intuition, protection, and a deep emotional knowing. The M may reflect her presence in those who feel called to care, to hold, to create life, not just physically, but spiritually, symbolically. Then comes the Magician, keeper of transformation. He represents the power of change, hidden knowledge, and sacred timing. The M, in this case, becomes a mark of inner alchemy, a sign that you hold the potential to turn pain into power, to read between the lines of reality. The third is the monarch, ruler of inner order and sovereignty, not control over others, but mastery over the self. Seeing the M through this lens suggests you are stepping into personal leadership, claiming the throne of your own life. These archetypes are not fantasies. They are psychic blueprints waiting to be lived out. The M does not implant them, but may reflect the one that is stirring in your unconscious at this very moment of your journey. Your archetype may be silent, but not still. The hand shows the imprint. The soul carries the force. Whether you are nurturing like the mother, mystical like the magician, or sovereign like the monarch, the M is how the psyche whispers, "It's time." Carl Jung saw these patterns not as roles to perform, but as truths to embody. When the M appears, it could be the self offering you a key, one that unlocks a forgotten part of your nature. And yet, the archetype isn't always clear at first. It can arrive in shadow, in mystery, in contradiction. You may feel overwhelmed, emotional, or strangely drawn inward. These are all signs of symbolic activation, the archetype stepping forward from within. It may come through dreams, synchronicities, or inner restlessness. The important part is to notice, to witness the story your hand is trying to tell. The M is not a final answer. It's an ancient letter written in a forgotten language. To read it, you must slow down. Observe not just your hand, but your habits, your path, your patterns. Ask yourself, which of these forces is knocking? At my door? The nurturing, the mystical, or the sovereign? Or perhaps all three waiting to be integrated? And as you reflect on that, remember, the collective unconscious doesn't speak in logic, but in metaphor, symbol, and archetypal image. What you see in your palm is only the beginning of a deeper journey into the unseen. In Jungian psychology, no journey is more sacred than individuation, the slow unfolding of who you were truly meant to become. It's not about becoming someone new, but integrating every fragmented part of your being into a conscious, authentic whole. The M on your hand may be more than a coincidence. It could be a symbolic mirror of your inner process. Each line, heart, head, life, and fate, intersecting to form this mark, like roads converging at a destined crossroad. The path of individuation is rarely clean. It begins in confusion, in longing, in discontent. But the soul leaves breadcrumbs. And sometimes one of those signs appears in your palm, a reminder that your transformation has already begun. This mark may surface during a personal crisis, a deep yearning for meaning, or an unexpected pull toward self-knowledge. It's not random, it's rhythmic. The unconscious chooses when you're ready to receive. In that moment, the M becomes a portal, not to some external fate, but to your inner architecture, the integration of your shadows, your persona, your truth. A sign that the self, your deepest center, is beginning to rise to the surface. Jung taught that individuation involves a descent into the unconscious and a return with wisdom. You confront the shadow, embrace the rejected parts, and unify the soul's opposites into a life that feels truly yours. The M can signify this sacred descent, an emblem of the chaos that births clarity. A message that your soul is preparing, not just for change, but for psychic integration. And integration is not comfort, it's confrontation, revelation, rearrangement. Your beliefs may shake, your identity may blur. But in that trembling, you begin to remember what it means to be whole. Each person's individuation is unique, but the signposts are universal. Dreams intensify, patterns break, the past resurfaces, asking to be re-understood. The M might be the first flag raised by your inner world. It doesn't grant you enlightenment, but it invites you to earn it. To walk through the fire of your own psyche, guided by symbols, reflections, and synchronicities only you can interpret. To Jung, the goal of life was not happiness, but meaning, and meaning is born from connection to the self, from embracing the full spectrum of who you are, not just the polished version you show the world. So if the M appears in your hand, ask yourself, what am I not seeing? What part of me is rising from the deep? Because individuation is never quiet. And the hand may speak before the voice ever can. Jung introduced the world to a radical idea. Not all events are connected by cause. Some are connected by meaning. These are synchronicities, uncanny alignments between the outer world and your inner state. You notice the M on your hand just as you begin to question your purpose. A strange coincidence or a symbolic alignment between the seen and the unseen. A psychic echo finally reaching the surface. Synchronicity is the language of the unconscious when it wants your full attention. It creates a crack in your usual logic, a moment that defies explanation, but demands reflection. The M could be such a moment. Its appearance coinciding with a dream, a memory, or an unexplainable feeling that your life is about to shift in a way you cannot yet define. You may feel drawn to books, signs, or people you wouldn't have noticed before. You may feel a new sense of restlessness, as if life is whispering, "There's more. Look again." That's how synchronicity works. It calls you back to yourself. It's easy to ignore these moments, to call them meaningless, coincidence. But Jung warned, what you dismiss may be the doorway to your own transformation, disguised in ordinary details. Seeing the M might not cause anything, but it might reflect everything you've been suppressing, hoping for, or silently fearing. It becomes a psychic signal, a message you've already written to yourself. Because synchronicity doesn't tell you what to do. It reflects what's already moving within. It's a mirror held up by the world so you can see your own soul from a new, disorienting angle. In that sense, the M is not predictive. It doesn't promise luck or doom. It simply offers a moment to pause, to feel the pulse of your inner world echoing through the physical one. You may remember a past moment, a feeling of déjà vu, a shift in energy. These aren't hallucinations. They are part of a symbolic dialogue between the unconscious and your conscious awareness. When you follow that dialogue, you become the interpreter of your own myth. You begin to find purpose not in facts, but in felt meaning, in patterns too alive to be ignored. The M is just one letter in a larger message being revealed piece by piece. You don't need to solve it. You need to feel it, track it, and respond. That's how personal meaning is born. And the deeper you go into these meanings, the more life begins to align. Not with your plans, but with your destiny, hidden until now, and slowly revealed through symbolic eyes. In Jungian thought, every outer symbol reflects an inner reality asking to be seen. The psyche doesn't speak in language. It speaks in images, sensations, and symbolic reflections. And when something appears on the body, it's never just physical. The M on your palm may be more than a mark. It may be a psychological response to a soul that is ready to be remembered, a call for balance, for truth, for inner alignment in a life that may have strayed from its core. Jung believed the unconscious will find a way to express what the ego refuses to confront. If your life has become too rigid, too distant from your essence, the psyche may send compensatory symbols to restore harmony through disruption. The M might be such a compensation, a physical metaphor for a psychological truth. It can arrive when you feel lost, numb, or hollow. Not to scare you, but to wake you from spiritual sleep. These marks may not scream, they whisper, they linger, and they provoke a question that many avoid. What am I no longer aligned with? What part of me is tired of hiding? Psychological symptoms are not enemies. They are messengers in disguise. Jung saw anxiety, depression, restlessness, not as pathologies to eliminate, but as signals from the self demanding integration. So, too, with symbols like the M. Its presence can be a gentle confrontation from the deeper layers of your mind, reminding you that you are more than the roles you perform, more than the mask you wear each day. It may reveal a need to reconnect with parts of yourself that were buried long ago. Your intuition, your anger, your longing, your truth. The psyche never forgets what you repress. It waits. Then it marks. If you've been over-identifying with control, the M might be the soul's rebellion against perfection. If you've abandoned your emotional world, it might signal a return to feeling, to grieving, to living. Each curve, a psychological invitation. You don't need to fix the M. You need to listen to it, sit with it, reflect on what changed when you finally saw it, what truth it dared to illuminate. It's not about hand-reading or mysticism. It's about pattern recognition in the psyche. The human mind craves meaning, and when the unconscious is ignored, it finds ways to speak, even through skin. This is the deeper truth Jung taught us, that every symptom, every sign, every image is the unconscious attempting to bring us back to wholeness. And if we ignore it, the signs become louder, more chaotic, more demanding. So before that happens, ask yourself, what might this symbol be compensating for? What have I left behind? And is it finally returning through this silent mark to ask for integration? You were never meant to live asleep. Your soul has been speaking in whispers, in symbols, in silent messages etched into your skin. The M on your hand is not a superstition. It's a reflection of what you're ready to become. But the question remains, will you keep living as if it means nothing? Or will you listen deeply to the call that's been rising from your unconscious this entire time? This is not about palmistry. This is about Jungian interpretation, inner transformation, and the sacred path of becoming whole. Because when the collective unconscious stirs, it always leaves signs for the ones who are ready. So look again at your hand, not with fear, but with reverence. Because your story may be more ancient, more archetypal, and more necessary than you ever imagined. And if this message echoed something inside you, if you felt seen, challenged, or strangely awakened, then don't keep this journey to yourself. Subscribe, turn on notifications, and walk with us through this symbolic path. Let's keep diving together into the hidden architecture of the soul, where archetypes, shadows, and synchronicities are not just theories, but doorways to your true self.